Hello, travel biz owner. Welcome to my corner of the travel industry, the Strategic Travel Entrepreneur Podcast. If you're ready to have fun, be inspired, get clarity, and take action in your travel business, then you're in the right place. Let's jump in. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Strategic Travel Entrepreneur. If you're new around here, my name is Rita M. Perez, and I am the host of the Strategic Travel Entrepreneur Podcast. And this is really the place where you learn to become a better business owner for your travel business. So welcome. If you have been wanting to put that entrepreneurial hat on, this is the right place for you. And this episode, I kind of wanted to create it as almost like a prequel to Plan Your Year workshop. And I say that because one of the big feedbacks that I got for Plan Your Year, which you can actually sign up for Plan Your Year workshop this year. It's happening in October. You can sign up during your registration for Prep for Wave Week this year. Actually, when you do that during your Prep for Wave Week registration, you get the best pricing because I like to reward fast action takers. So just a heads up, if you haven't already signed up for Prep for Wave Week, or if you've been kind of teetering, like I'm not sure if I should sign up or not, this is your sign to sign up. And if you would like to plan your year and take action with us, definitely join us at the Plan Your Year workshop. But a lot of the feedback that I got from last year is that Plan Your Year workshop was some of the topics were a little too advanced if you haven't been in my ecosystem for a little while. And that's kind of what this episode is for, to level out the playing field. If you haven't heard me talk about some of these topics that can help you to create your marketing ecosystem, because maybe this is your first episode, or this is your fifth episode, or you've listened to all the episodes that I have to offer. This is always a really great refresher when we're thinking about planning out your marketing ecosystem, because if you have been here for a little bit, you know that I am not a one and done type person in terms of marketing. And what I mean by that is that you just can't market one way, and that's the only way, especially if you want to build a presence online. Digital marketing nowadays, and how the search engine algorithm and the AI search engine algorithms are working, is that you need a multi-channel approach. So I'm hoping that this episode helps you build or refine that multi-channel approach, because it's not like you can only be active on Instagram and that's it. It's not like you can only do networking and that's it. You have to have like a beautiful combination of things to really be able to have longevity and success when it comes to making sure that your business is visible. Now, hopefully, you know why it's important to be visible in your business. People need to know that you're in business. Also, you can't make any sales if nobody knows that you're in business. So you have to be out there and you have to be active and preaching the good word of what your business is. Now, I will say a precursor to this episode, or a great precursor to this episode, would be episode 209, how to build your travel business sales funnel, because I have 3 pillars when it comes to that. You've got to know your numbers, then you got to know what you're going to sell, and then you have to figure out how you're going to market. That last part is what we're going to be diving into a little bit today, is talking about that ecosystem. And I'm actually going to be using some of the things from the Plan Your Year workbook that I create to kind of give me a pathway for today's episode. So first things first is that we have to figure out what are going to be those different channels that you're going to be marketing on. And I like to call this the marketing matrix. How you're going to be meeting new people, how you're going to be connecting with new people or current people that are in your atmosphere. How are you going to be converting them into a sale? Now, I will say not everybody that you've met or connected with will convert to a sale. But the nice thing of having them in your ecosystem still is that Maybe they're an idea bouncer for you. They could also be a really great referral partner. So I would not discount anybody who doesn't automatically convert into a client, but it's still important for you to keep meeting these types of people and connecting, as well as the people that will convert for you. And then the relationship doesn't stop once the sale has been made. The people have gone on the trip. You've delivered on a really great experience. You still have to reconnect with your client. I mean, I guess you don't really have to reconnect with these people, but if you want to stay top of mind, you better be reconnecting with people. So that's the 4 quadrants when I look at for the marketing matrix. Those are the 4 those are the 4 buckets that fill up. You're going to have a lot more towards the beginning. You're going to have a lot more ways to meet people than you are going to have a lot more ways to convert people. Because again, you're going to be meeting a lot more people in that meet stage than you are at that convert stage. So I like to remind you, you don't have to do all the things. You do have to do a couple of different things. So you just have to focus on the marketing strategies that you think are going to work best for you, kind of work with your personality, work also with your capacity and your bandwidth. This might change seasonally as well. So if you know that you're always going to be busy Q4, Q1, maybe some of the things you really put into hustle mode during Q2 and Q3, whereas the other times of the year, you focus on other things like helping convert clients. So again, this is going to be more nuanced. Like, this plan really has to be personalized to your own business. So some examples of things that can be in that meet area or that attraction phase is networking. That should come to no one's surprise, that networking. You've got to be meeting other people, and it's got to be a two-way street. It's not that you're just going to take people and put them in your little black book. You've also got to be providing value to the other people that you're meeting so that they want to keep you in their little black book, so that they want to refer people out to you, or that they want to work with you in the future as well. So it's not just you're going to take. You're also going to do a lot of sharing, because you've got to put your part into this as well. So huge proponent. This can be like formal networking events. This can be very niche networking events. This can be in person. This can be digitally. Like, if you are actively engaging on LinkedIn, networking happens on LinkedIn. So especially if your time is very limited, you better start making friends on LinkedIn, because that'll help you out tremendously. In this area too, I put collaborations. I feel like this can help you out a lot. That it's not just you going. You might be a solo business owner, but you do not have to do business by yourself. And in fact, it can be a lot of fun when you are collaborating with other business owners. And this can be business owners within your specific industry. This can be people outside of the industry and outside of your niche. So really think creatively on that, because while you may have known this person for a while, the meet part of this, MEET, the meet part of this comes that you are now a new person to people that are in their world, and vice versa. They're a new person to people who are in your world. So that collaboration really super packs the visibility opportunity there. Then, of course, digitally, SEO, and we can't discount, especially nowadays, that AIO, that AI search engine optimization. And this is part of why it's even more important to have this multi-channel approach, that you're in different places and you're maximizing what your digital footprint is. Because AI is searching not only websites, they're searching social media, similar to the Google search engines and all the other engines. That's what they're searching too. Like, you'll find YouTube videos. Now there are Instagram reels and things like that are popping up on search. So how this pops up is that you are using keywords, or the way that you're writing is really beneficial. This is not like you writing an article or writing a post just to write a post. You're infusing it with some keywords, but you're not keyword stuffing. And you're also infusing it with answers, because that's really what AI optimization is about. It's looking for answers and it's looking for credible sources. So if you don't have a digital footprint, this SEO and AIO is not going to work in your favor. This is a really great way to generate like those passive people that come in, that they find you because they've searched you in some capacity, either on a search bar or they've searched you by asking AI. So if you want kind of like that passive, so you don't have to do as much networking, then you really need to beef up this SEO and the AIO. A community, and there's lots of different ways to think about communities. This can be like you host a private Facebook community. Maybe you're a part of a community service organization, but what are you doing to get out there and be known, be recognized, be helpful in a community? And then of course, Google Business Profile. This does go back to the SEO and AIO. It does help you out with those optimizations, but especially if somebody is trying to Google travel advisor near them, this is going to be primo time for you to like be front and center and have your business there. But make sure that your Google Business Profile is completely filled out, optimized, and is very clear on what you do, who you serve, and all of that, because it's going to be it's going to be easier for somebody to be able to identify if they should be working with you or not. So our next pillar is connect. How are you connecting with people after that initial meeting? And so this is definitely going to be where that email marketing comes in. Hopefully you're doing email marketing on a regular basis. That could be monthly, that could be bi-monthly. I do weekly emails, so whatever feels good to you. I know there's a couple programs out there. I'm a huge fan of the Email Marketing Membership by Liz Wilcox, but then there's also a program out there by Katie Fisher from Moxie and Forth, but I think there might be some changes happening. I'm not sure if that's if branding is part of the changes, but I know I recently met up with Katie, and she also has like templated emails to make it easier for you to market via email. Social media, of course, is a really big one. I have the Cruise content library, so if you're needing help figuring out what content to be putting out there, I've got a lot of B-roll, over 2,000 B-roll clips. Going to be posting up some photos that you can use too, because if you heard a couple months back, Angela Hughes shared in her luxury marketing social media group for travel pros, she shared a story of where they were fined because one of their interns accidentally used an image that didn't have the rights to be used within like a commercial means. So that's why I say like things like my Cruise content library are a little bit helpful in there, because you do have the rights to use some of this stuff within your marketing, especially if you're a cruise advisor. Other really great resources is Travel Agent Collective. I think Wanderlust Social is another really great one that's out there. So just there's lots of different resources to help make this easier. And right now, especially when it comes to social media, and I would say when it comes to marketing, things do not have to be polished. Things do not have to be perfect. If anything showed you that this week, it had to have been the big to do, and it wasn't even it was a big to do, but not a big to do. I hope you get what I was saying there. But with Taylor Swift announcing her new album, she announced it very authentically, rough around the edges. And I'm not saying that it was harsh or anything. I'm just saying that it was not scripted. It was not totally put together, prim and proper, and that was the appeal of it. And that is the appeal of social media right now. Like if you're looking at reels, people, I'm not saying that people are all disheveled, but it is more important to deliver a message or to deliver a note and communicate with other people than it is to be scripted and than it is to be all put together. People want real, people want authentic, people want to know that you know what you know. And that is the overarching theme. So things do not have to be perfect when it comes to social media. That I feel like that was like early 2000, like that's 2000. That was like 5-6 years ago plus, where like you had to have like the perfectly curated everything. It's not like that anymore. And if your feed is like that and you haven't been gaining traction, that may be a reason why, because people do not care about the perfectly polished anymore. I mean, some might, but most people don't care about that. Coffee chats are another really great way to connect with other people. And I always like to give this example that, like, if I'm meeting somebody in person, I'm going to say, I would love to extend our conversation. Let's go ahead and hop on a coffee chat later on. I would never be like, oh my gosh, it was so nice meeting you. You should download my lead magnet. That sounds crazy. Doesn't that just naturally does not fit the conversation. So it sounds cuckoo beans. So you also have to figure out like which of these is going to work in which instance for you as well. I also love connecting via direct mailers. When I was doing a lot on the agency side, I would send like Cruise of the Month postcards to give inspiration to people that were on my client list. So that was a fun to do. And that was also something that not a lot of other people were doing. So that's something, again, to position you out there from other travel advisors and also big box stores and all the like. Then we go on to convert. So at this box, so I told you there's going to be a lot more options, and I'm not even saying all the options at each of these levels. I'm just giving you an idea of what you can expect at these different levels. But discovery calls is going to be one of those avenues of how you're going to be converting people. You've met them, they've been following you on social media for a little bit. Now they're ready to book their trip, but they have some questions. So you hop on a discovery call, explain your process, explain how you work, your fees, your agreements, and all that. That is your discovery call process. Maybe you're not hopping on a call with somebody. Maybe you decided that you were going to host a webinar. You've invited everybody on your email list. Maybe it's that you have created an engaging proposal, and that is what gets people to go ahead and book that trip, a proposal or a landing page. Maybe it is just that somebody has heard that you give really great customer service and they just can't wait to work with somebody who is so detailed and organized and has all the insider information to the destination that they want to go to. That could also be one of the things, is you delivering on excellent customer service is one of the things that can help convert clients to you. And then again, like, it just doesn't end when the sale has been done. And so, yes, you're probably using social media and email marketing. Some of those same people will stay in your orbit for a little bit until they're ready to book their next trip with you. But let's up the ante, because, we don't always see everybody's social media posts. Our email can get a little inundated because everybody's email marketing to us. So what are other ways? I, again, like your direct mailbox. And so birthday cards have always been one of my favorite things. Holiday cards, again, another one of my favorite things. Just those special touches that make people think of you, keep you top of mind, and also that other people and other businesses, not even in the travel industry, but just other businesses in general, aren't doing for their clients. And one of the programs that I'm testing out for this is called Cardly. There was another program that I used. It was like a monthly subscription, and it just wasn't working out for me. And I actually kind of find the cards on Cardly a little bit better. So it's cardly.com. So they will send you a free card so that you can test out the service. I don't know where I put the free card. I just remember like it was really great quality. So, and you can do automation. So similar to email marketing, if you just want to set it and forget it, because that was the thing when I was doing direct mail marketing and like doing these birthday cards. once I got busy, there were months that I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm sending this late. And so I just wanted to be on top of it. And so that's why I like that some of these programs like Cardly, Postable's another one. I've never tried that one, but I've heard good things about that one. You can like put people's birth month and the birthday, and you can set it that they send the card out a week in advance, and you design the card and whatever, and voila, it ends up in somebody's mailbox and they get super excited. So those are the 4 pillars when it comes to the marketing matrix. So you have to get that decided. Something else that you need to consider when we're thinking about content marketing is that you have to do a little bit of inner work. And by that, I mean 2 of my favorite exercises to really do the inner work, because this is going to help shape the marketing messages that you put out there. This is going to shape the content that you put out. This is going to shape some of the programs that you might put together. So if you're putting like group programs or different types of itineraries, this is really going to shape how all of that comes together. So you have like the tactile with how you're going to do it. Now this is the why you're going to do it. And this also helps to share people like a little bit more about you. So the first exercise that I want you to think about is that onion layer exercise. Just like Shrek, we're going to peel the onion back to reveal some of the layers. And the question that you need to ask yourself is, why do you do the work that you do? Why does a client work with you? Why do they choose to work with you and not someone else or not somewhere else? What motivates them? What scares them about this trip? What do they have in common? So this is going to be a little bit, this is a little woo, but I feel like this is going to be super important because it's going to get to the heart of exactly what you do. And I feel like this is something that pretty much should be evaluated every single year. Go ahead, do a brain dump as you're working on this, because this is going to help you peel back your own layers. I like to say maybe 7-ish layers might be ideal, but if I'm asking you, why did you get into the travel industry? Why did you become a travel agency owner? You might start off saying, because I needed money. Well, why do you need money? Well, because I need to support myself and support my bills. Well, why do you need to support yourself and support your bills? And just keep peeling back the layers of that, because it's not as simple as that. There is a little bit bigger, more universal answer that comes out once you really peel back at the layers and start peeling back. Why is it that clients choose you? Why do you think somebody should be choosing you? And being able to infuse that within your marketing. The other exercise that I like you to do is that 6 W's exercise. Content is really meant to position you as an authority. It does help you to educate your audience. It also helps you to be relatable, especially if you're doing things a little punchy, because some of the things that I like to remember is like, I want my content to be practical, and I want it to be punchy, and I also want it to be personal. Especially from what I mentioned before, people don't want the finely polished everything. They don't want something that's super sloppy, but they want to get to know the real you. So maybe if you've got like your top button, maybe unbutton it and just lay back and relax a little bit and let the true you come out. The right people are going to like flock because you are their right type of nerd. Maybe you are their right type of fashionista, whatever it is, you're their right type of sports person. They're going to flock to you. Why are they going to flock to you? That's what you answer in that onion layer exercise. Because that's also going to help fuel this, the 6 W's exercise, which is also kind of like FAQs to me. It is the 6 W's that we learned when we were in grade school. So who, what, when, where, why, how. If you are stuck on marketing and like creating a piece of content, this is where you should probably go, is to the 6W exercise, and maybe just make a column and think about who is your ideal person, especially after having done onion layer. Who is that ideal person? What are their fears? What are their wishes? What are their hopes? What are the concerns that they're worried about for this upcoming trip that they have? Lots of different questions and ideas are going to start downloading, and you need to write down those brain dumps because those are going to help you formulate content topics for your marketing purposes. Because too, I said multi-channel, but it all starts with one big major channel so that you can start repurposing and start getting consistency. And from there is your macro content. Macro content to me means you're either doing a podcast, you're writing a blog post, or you're filming a YouTube video. Now, technically, if you record a podcast with a video, you could have all of those. Or you can, I don't record this podcast with video, so I get blog posts from this, which is nice. And I might do YouTube for something else. I would have never been consistent in podcasting if I didn't only start with podcasting first. So that's why I say figure out which one is going to be the most easy and go there. So if you want to do blogging, okay, we figured out you're going to do written articles. Now, what are those FAQs that those written articles are going to answer for your clients? Some helpful things to help you come up with these different questions and the FAQs for the 6Ws is to figure out what's the buying stage of your buyer, because they're going to have different questions at different buying stages. So if they're new to you, they're going to be like, who are you? Why should I even care about you? Why should I even work with you? If they know you, they want to know what your expertise is. Like, why should I care about you when this other person also knows all this information? And then if you go it down even further, they definitely are not new to you anymore. They definitely know who you are because they've made some sort of purchase. There's different things that people need to know after they've made a purchase. This is more like they need to know travel updates. They need to know if that hurricane that's coming is going to be affecting their trip. They don't need to really know that if they're brand new to you, because they don't even know if they're going to have you plan their trip for them. So, and this is why it's important, like when you're doing this brain dump, you take those things into consideration because there's going to be different types of content pieces at each of those different levels. So, buying stage. And then something that can help make this easier, because you're probably looking at the blank sheet of paper being like, oh my gosh, there's so many FAQs. Let's narrow that down a little bit and figure out what are some of the core topics that you're going to be focusing on. So when I was doing a lot of content marketing for my agency, and I specialized in cruise retreats, my core topics were things that had to do with team leader, team dynamics, things that had to do with business coaching or small business owners. Cruises was definitely one of my topics. And then just general travel tips. Travel tips can also be like destination highlights, or cruises can also be destination highlights. So you can have like subtopics within the main topics as well. So again, there's a lot of different ways that you can go, but I think 4 is typically where I like to go to, because typically there's 4 weeks a month, and I want you to be doing weekly content. So that's another thing to have in mind when you're planning and trying to do this brain dump on the 6Ws. So who is somebody that should be traveling with you? Who is the ideal client for an ocean cruise? And then we're jumping to the why bucket. Why should an ocean cruiser try out river cruising? Where can I go on a river cruising? When can I go on a river cruise? How can I get to a river cruise? What is a river cruise? So you can see those are frequently asked questions. And by you answering and detailing these answers, you are not only like putting together a really nice beefy piece of macro content, but the different bullet points, this different subplots are things that you can use in your social media, which is more like macro content. So definitely take a couple of minutes to kind of, once you're working on this exercise, to really word vomit everything, whether that's like you're doing this in a Google Doc, if you're handwriting everything out, maybe you're like voice texting with ChatGPT, whatever you're doing, just be mindful of this. You should have the closer to 52, because 52 one a week. So technically, if you do 10 questions, if you can come up with 10 questions in every bucket, you have more than enough topics for each year to use for your content marketing. So you can see we're kind of building the plan here. I hope that this has been super duper helpful. Of course, this is just like the tipping point. This is just the starting point. It is now time for you to get the work done. So whether that's you joining us at Plan Your Year later on, or you figuring this out on your own, hopefully this is the start of you creating your own marketing system. Let me know if you have any questions. You can, of course, send those to me as a text, and then we will see you also at Prep for Weight Week in just a few weeks. Thanks for joining me on the podcast today. Remember to check out the show notes for all relevant links and resources from today's show. See you next time.